Since he was the one who caused the trouble in the first place, he should take care of this damning nuisance himself. However, the other party was new to this world, so surely she didn't know anything yet. Thinking of this, Su Fan decided to fool her again for a while. In this way, one might still be able to survive for a while longer and not be killed by it now. Besides, she was already a demoness, so stabilizing her emotions first was a priority. Su Fan slowly turned around to look at her with a gentle face, and his entire aura was different. The eyes were deep and the gaze was calm, as if they had experienced the vicissitudes and sufferings of millions of years. Hey, is that why you're looking for this, right? Seeing that this female devil was not as resentful towards herself as she had just appeared, Su Fan was also relieved in his heart. He knew that, at least for now, he had sort of saved his little life. It's up to you to keep fooling her from now on. Tang Yanling's gaze gradually softened, but the chill in the air didn't decrease by half, and she just eyed Su Fan, waiting for his answer. I really don't know how you became a devil Dao Empress. Empty cultivation but not much brain. Su Fan laughed coldly, his tone carrying a disdain for banter, but in reality, he was internally flustered to a batch. When Tang Yanling heard this, her eyebrows frowned slightly, but she didn't immediately get angry. She wanted to see what kind of trick Su Fan could say. Seeing that the other party's emotions were still normal, Su Fan continued, your 10 million years of cultivation has really gone to the dogs. Do you really not know, or are you pretending not to know? This realm you actually thought was just an ordinary low-ranked realm? Tang Yanling didn't reply. Only her embroidered brows wrinkled deeper. This realm is the holy land of the human race, and the ancestral land of the human race. All the branches of the human race in the great millennium world went out from here. And you actually dare to speak out of turn and say that this is a low-ranked realm? Don't talk nonsense. If it's really as you said, then how could the spiritual chi here be so thin? Even a simple exhale of breath can't be done. Don't try to swindle me, Tang Yanling retorted in a stern voice, which instantly made Su Fan's heart tremble. But seeing that this which didn't immediately make a move, he still forced himself to remain calm. Then with a few cool scoffs, his eyes revealed a kind of contempt. You're really ignorant. Who said that aura can determine the strength of a realm? Have you ever heard of the boundary ceiling formation? Boundary ceiling formation? Tang Yanling's expression finally changed a bit when she heard this. Watching his flimflam succeed in making the other party start thinking, Su Fan sold his energy even more. Not bad. It's the legendary boundary ceiling formation. I'm sure you know that once this formation is opened, then the boundaries that have this formation will all be blocked off. People outside can't get in, and people inside can't get out, and even the aura will start to slowly dissipate between the heavens and the earth. I saw that the other man did not speak, but frowned and fell into deep thought. Su Fan had a serious face as he continued to talk nonsense. In ancient times, this realm used to have an abundance of aura, and countless human powerhouses walked out. But on a certain day, a great formation was set up by a supremely powerful person, so much so that it blocked the aura. Let me ask you this, if you one day become the supreme god of the ancestral god world, and when there is no more enemy in the world, what are you most afraid of? Tang Yanling's eyes suddenly flashed, and even her breathing quickened a few points. Could it be? Not bad. You'll be afraid of being surpassed by upstarts. You'll be afraid of them affecting your position as supreme. Su Fan didn't let her continue to snatch at the answer. Instead he was speaking rapidly to explain the original reason to her. Receiving Su Fan's affirmation, Tang Yanling came to her senses, her eyes revealing a fearful mentality. Are you saying that this realm has been blocked by a supreme powerhouse just to consolidate its position? Su Fan nodded and walked slowly towards the window, his hands behind his back. The sunlight outside the window spilled over his body, making his back look unusually depressed. Chapter 7 The Bluffed Empress. Chapter 7 The Bluffed Empress. Looking at Su Fan's hazy back by the window, Tang Yanling's heart was greatly stimulated. Although she had heard it all from him and had not verified it herself, the shock she had received was real. She settled down and continued to ask, what exactly is this person's realm? Tang Yanling felt bad. She was the devil emperor of the world of gods, and now that she was trapped here and heavily injured, her cultivation was less than a tenth of what it should be. If that supreme being discovered the trail, he would definitely die without a burial place. After all, one mountain cannot accommodate two tigers. Su Fan watched as the other party was successfully led astray by himself, so he decided to continue adding more fire. He is an old monster who has already lived for tens of thousands of years, having long ago achieved the supreme primordial infinite fruit position, having suppressed countless races in all these heavenly realms with the power of a single person, and even the demons, gods, devils, and the like have been massacred by him in their stead. Surprisingly so terrifying? Tang Yanling sucked in a mouthful of cool air, her face instantly turning pale, because in the world of the gods, there had never been a strong person like this, And now that she was staying in this realm that didn't even have an aura, there was actually such an existence, how could she not let her heart jump in fear? In fact, when she had awakened just now, she had carefully explored the boundaries within a 100-mile radius and found that it was completely different from the world of gods. This realm had magic treasures running on the ground, flying magic treasures in the sky that looked like birds, and many, many more that she had never seen before. Moreover, these magic treasures did not require aura to be activated, which caused her worldview to be greatly impacted. There were also human beings on the streets, dressed unusually strange, completely different from the human beings in the world of the gods in her image, and he could not even understand a word of the conversation between the words. The pronunciation was odd, but it was somewhat similar to the pronunciation from what she knew inside the ancient books. Tang Yanling murmured in a low voice, "Could it be that this place is really a high-level realm?" With that thought out of the way, she once again felt a great fear and wanted to run away from the world immediately. However, his cultivation was damaged, less than 1/10 of his original level, making it impossible for him to break through the void, and extreme anxiety haunted its mind. Suddenly, she turned her head and stared straight at Su Fan with a questioning look. "If that's the case, why did you reincarnate here, and even willingly disbanded the army?" She had always held a grudge against this guy for kissing her for no reason before, and if it wasn't for the fear of having her Taoist heart clouded and being haunted by the demons of her heart, thus affecting her cultivation, how could she possibly have followed Su Fan to this realm? The other party's sudden question had confused Su Fan. However, he was an outstanding graduate with 9 years of compulsory education, and it was only a trance for him to deal with this kind of trouble, and he had already thought of a way to deal with it. You're also a character who has lived for millions of years, so you should also know that trying to break through to a higher world in the world of gods isn't a simple matter, right? Indeed, but what does this have to do with your reincarnation to this realm? Is it just to break through to that supreme realm? Tang Yanling's vermilion lips lightly opened. Her gaze eyed him slyly. "Ha, that's right, knowing that I am of the human race, and that this realm happens to be the ancestral land of the human race, so I believe that the opportunity one am pursuing is definitely here." Su Fan's tone was filled with pleading, almost as if he was gritting his teeth and spitting out one word at a time. Not waiting for Tang Yanling to chime in, he took advantage of the situation, carrying a teasing look in his eyes. Isn't your own life the most important thing you should be concerned about right now? You have to know that this is the domain of my human race. Moreover, there is also a supreme being. If you are discovered by him, I'm afraid that you..." Su Fan knew that the art of language lay in learning to get to the point, and with the words already spoken, he didn't say much more, instead leaving all the time for thinking to the other party. When Tang Yanling heard this, her face sank, and a quiet sense of crisis leapt out. Regarding this matter that the other party was talking about, she was naturally aware of it, but naturally, she realized that she couldn't get out of this realm at all, and besides, there was no aura to provide for her to heal her injuries. "I do have a good idea though. It's up to you if you want to hear it." "You? Why are you helping me?" Tang Yanling looked at him with a face of disbelief. The two were still mortal enemies who had fought to the death before. Now the other party actually said that he was willing to help her. Did he really think that she was a 3-year-old urchin? Just listen to me as I unfold the story. Su Fan paused and picked up a bottle of mineral water on the table and took a hard sip. "As you know, since I dare to take the risk of military disintegration and self-destruction of 10 million years of cultivation, then there must be my reasoning, and now I'm just a mortal. If you are willing to stay by my side and protect my well-being, I'll keep you safe and sound." When Tang Yanling sniffed, she always felt that something was strange and out of place, but she couldn't tell exactly where it was wrong all of a sudden. "You know, since I dared to reincarnate here, then there must be a way to keep that supreme being from knowing about it, but now I am still in a mortal body, so if I meet any other dangers, I don't have the ability to solve them. No, you go on, and you're deep in the enemy camp. It's simply a fool's errand to not be exposed, but you're lucky to have met me, and I have a way to keep you from being discovered by the supreme being." Su Fan made up his mind. Since this female devil couldn't be gotten rid of anymore, he must let her stay by his side properly. This was a living bodyguard plus labor force. Besides, she has a full body of cultivation. When the time comes to get money for herself, it's not a matter of easy to get it. Tang Yanling once again fell into deep thought after listening to the explanation. Because who let Su Fan speak to her heart? Now that she was seriously injured, once she accidentally exposed the identity of the demon race, she was afraid that she would be strangled by many powerful people. Therefore, before she recovered from her injuries, she decided to hold back as long as she could. "Ahem, there's no problem with cooperation, but I still want to know why I was kissed in the first place and why I said those inexplicable words." Su Fan, oh, my god, why is this woman so stubborn? She won't let go of this, will she? Can't you give me a break? Su Fan deeply felt what it meant that his brain was about to be burned out of commission. Just because of a kiss. It can make it from rushing the game inside Chase out to cut himself. And now it is even more. 3 sentences do not leave this matter. Stressed out. Really stressed out. Granted. I've never kissed a girl myself. That what? About this matter we'll give you an explanation after our cooperation is over. Tang Yanling frowned upon hearing this, but she didn't chase after him again. The priority still needed to recover her cultivation as soon as possible. By the way, you said that you would help me escape the Supreme Being's scrutiny. What shall you do? Faced with the sudden inquiry, Su Fan sheepishly glanced at the several large handbags beside him. Chapter 8 It's a dangerous idea. Chapter 8 It's a dangerous idea. Su Fan was now panicking in his heart, and panicking a lot. He still wasn't quite sure what to make of the fact that he'd taken it upon himself to go and buy her a little tank top, little pants, or whatever. One must know that the other party was a genuine Devil Dao Empress, in case she was offended by this matter. I'm afraid that it would be the sound of heads rolling off the ground on the spot. Well, seeing Su Fan stammering and refusing to speak, Tang Yanling's eyes directly narrowed. In fact, for hiding her breath, she was also able to use it skillfully, and as long as there wasn't a huge difference in each other's cultivation levels, the chances of being discovered were almost zero. However, if the other party was one great realm higher than oneself, then this point of ability was just playing a big sword in front of the Guangong. Feeling the other party's sense of oppression, Su Fan's eyes cooed, then slowly took out the few pieces of clothing he had just bought back. Don't underestimate these clothes. This is an untold secret of my human race. It is the material of the primordial true solution, coupled with the supreme secret script of my human race, and thus drawn and shaped. Tang Yanling picked up the garment and carefully caressed it. Although these clothes had a peculiar shape and special materials, she did not detect any aura fluctuations, nor did they have any secret text formations as Su Fan had said. One of the most crucial things was that she herself was at least a Devil's Road Empress, and it was surprising that these materials were unheard of and unseen even by her. Right at the time Su Fan had gone out, she had woken up and had already used her divine sense to explore her surroundings. The group of humans were almost all dressed like this, which was exceptionally surprising when it came to her first time seeing them. I understand what you're saying, but what exactly is this? Tang Yanling held a small undershirt in her hand and shook it in front of her eyes a few times, then sent it to Su Fan. Su Fan, his heart was like a million horses, and his face was as red and bubbly as a teapot that was about to boil. And, how exactly should I wear these 2 clumps that flop around? She was full of doubts, and it didn't look like she was wearing it on the outside. Suddenly, an aura came over her, as if she understood something. Those 2 oval-shaped depressions gave rise to an idea in its mind. Could this be a blouse? Her eyes widened as if they were 2 bronze bells. Having lived for so many years, she had never seen such a style. Su Fan, and, could these be Xia pants? The 2 pieces of clothing that had originally been held in his hands for observation out of curiosity were flung at Su Fan's face in an instant. Su Fan, Tang Yanling couldn't accept that she was wearing this kind of thing and showed extreme resistance and impatience. Looking at the other party's appearance, Su Fan helplessly reached out and took the small undershirt off his face, and softly opened his mouth to persuade him. This clothing, it has a very powerful secret formation pattern inside. If I don't wear it, I'm afraid that it will easily be discovered. But, no buts, just listen to me. We're partners. How could I screw over a partner, right? Su Fan had completely lost his face and began to flirt with one another. And these clothes are a complete set. Only when you put them all on will the secret formation pattern work to its fullest. Looking at the other party with a genuine gaze, Tang Yanling finally chose to compromise. Seeing Tang Yanling agree, Su Fan continued to ride the wave of victory. It's getting late. You'd better go bathe and change as soon as possible. And when you've come out, I'll carefully talk to you about this realm in detail. Tang Yanling nodded with a face of indifference. Looking down at the few pieces of clothing on the table, the colors were indeed very pretty and the styles were relatively new. But, she turned over a piece of clothing in a pile and held it in her hand. Frowning, she asked, "What are these things? Why would you expose your legs? And it's also so short, so it's not like you're in bed with the harmonious, cheerful sect?" Su Fan fixed his eyes and glanced at it, and a JK uniform leapt to its surface.